come on the chair? Meow. Come here. Come here. Good boy. Oh, okay, goodbye. Did you like your treats, Freddie? Happy Friday, y'all. We made it. I'm going to attempt to bake the first rounds of our mooncakes today while assembling the rest. It is time, I think, to complete the last leg of our journey together in terms of mooncakes. As for other things that I need to do in life, we shall keep procrastinating on them. And, you know, mooncakes first. Death, taxes, and everything else second. And if you agree, Freddie, is this the right way to live? Snacks first? Taxes later? Yeah. 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 Hey, what if we show the people how goodly you purr? You want to show the people how goodly you purr? Oh, show us your butt. Yes, we love to see that butt. Hey, come here. Hey, come here. Third time's the charm. They want to see your facey do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You love your chin scritches. Yes, 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 yes. He meowed this morning twice. He would not let me sleep at 4, and then he would not let me sleep at 6, and then he would not let me sleep at 7:30. He's like, get up, you lazy bitch. It's time for 3 breakfasts. I'm hungry. Also, you haven't cleaned my poops. Clean my poops. Also, why are you still asleep? It's time to go visit Granny. He's my alarm clock. So I'm trying to give you guys as much of a fill of Fred as possible. Aaron will be returning from his trip probably early next week. So Freddie will be with us for a few more days. I actually don't know if I'll get around to making that video with all of your questions, but even if I don't, I'll just continue answering them on a live. Maybe I'll title the lives according to which question I answer. But I'm trying to find a balance for myself, I think. I know I've said this recently, but I'm also trying to convince myself that it is okay to not deliver on ideas that I thought I would do all the time, because I have many ideas and slowly less and less energy to do them, and lower and lower motivation to carry through on a lot of projects, because I don't know, maybe winter depression is setting in, maybe grief season is setting in, maybe I'm just tired. So Fred, that's my mooncake. You no eat. No eat the mooncake. Good boy. Good boy. Yes. in this particular season, I've started to kind of recognize a pattern in myself of trying always to do new things and trying to have them be complete ideas, which I think is a good thing, but it's also not a good thing if they eventually become stressors that form a sort of calcified urgency and pain, because it's all kind of self-inflicted. So I've been trying to do better at not letting myself wear myself down like that. I've gotten a few comments on the lives this past week that watching them make you depressed, that you used to like watching versions of me that weren't this depressed, to which I say I understand, but this is what I'm serving you now, and if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it, right? But I've also gotten some very lovely comments that say that this is kind of therapeutic for them, that they can relate to a lot of these topics, and so, you know, we all have to identify our audience, and we have to identify ourselves, and we have to grow comfortable with the fact that we're not for everyone. So I can't really respond to comments from people who aren't paying me to make content for them, you know? That doesn't make sense. Like, if you paid me for a subscription of videos, sure, I'll respond to you because you're paying me for a transactional product, but right now, I'm just giving you free videos. Hi, Freddie. Baby, we're gonna do mooncakes. You ready? You ready to make mooncakes? Mooncakes. Mooncakes. You're just following me around. You're just following me around. Okay. Freddie, I was gonna roast peanuts, but I think today we just do mooncakes. What do you think? Oh, you are not swishing your butthole on the floor, you disgusting little furry fur ball. Ugh. Gross, Freddie. Gross. Gross. You're gross, buddy. You're disgusting. You've left butthole matter on my kitchen floor now that I'm going to traipse through all the rooms. Yeah, give me your butthole germs and then leave. Disgusting. He don't care. He don't care. He don't care that he's disgusting. He's supposed to be neutered, but makes me question sometimes when he does these things. He still has this ball sack. But I've been told sometimes they don't remove the ball sack because they don't want to be too intrusive of a surgery. They just get rid of the necessary parts to deactivate. Hello, Charlotte. What's up in North Carolina these days? Alright, so usually for the mooncake recipe, I have them baking at 350. My oven runs a little bit hot. I'm going to set it to 335. I think that'll be an appropriate temperature. But I'm first going to try to form a tray of shapes before I start the oven up. And we also have to roll the other frozen balls because we ran out of dough. Let's give this dough a taste and see how it has aged. since yesterday. Salty, sweet, buttery, doughy, like cookie dough. That tastes almost exactly like a chocolate chip cookie dough. Fred is always pissed about everything. He's just like an average viewer. Fred, you have to remember you didn't pay for any of this shit. So, beggars can't be choosers, you know? I'm drinking some cinnamon tea, literally just cinnamon sticks steeped in water. I have some fennel seeds in here that are like older spices that I'm trying to use up so I can have a fully burlap and barrel arsenal. But really delicious. Cinnamon tea. Okay. Well, let's start with our pandan that we made yesterday. Hello, Seattle. Matcha yolks and plain. So, because I have them marked with black sesame and nothing for the plain, we can be rest assured that I will still be able to decipher which one's which after the bake. So I think we will be able to put these all on one tray. So let's see how this will work. Are all of my videos therapeutic or just the edited ones? Because I don't know, like, I think the lives are a certain form of therapy, but certainly not for everyone. Okay, for the pandan, we will use, I have 4 patterns here. This one I think says good. This one I think says moon. This one I think says circle or round or fullness. And this one I think says flower. I'm not sure. The characters are kind of backwards so that they imprint forwards. I think this one says flower. I think for pandan we're going to go with flower because pandan is a leaf. Does that make sense? I think so. So I'm just going to mark it with a flower insignia so that I remember which one's which. You prefer the lives. That's definitely a hot take. So what we have to do is there are notches in here that you then fit this into. There's a Fred hair. Whoops. But it doesn't always stay, so then you have an issue if it doesn't stay. There's something that I can be doing that makes it easier to clip into place, like some sort of a twist, but I struggle with this mold for sure sometimes. I'm so sorry about this countertop. You can't really see Fred anymore. Unless I go here. Now you can see him a little bit better. So these will get baked for approximately 24 minutes total. We're gonna do 8 minutes first bake. Second bake will be 8 minutes with the egg wash. Third bake will be another 8 minutes with another layer of egg wash for the most glossy possible mooncakes. So you can see it cracked a little bit because the dough is probably still too cold, but here's the pattern. So why don't we let these come to room temp a little bit first, and then we can portion out some dough in the meantime for the next batch of coating. So that we have less cracks. I'm gonna try to get you a little bit of me and Fred, if that's possible. But we know Freddie is the star of the show. I'm not gonna try to compete with the star of the show. How's everyone's week been? Has it been a tolerable week? Are you glad that you're at Friday? Are you looking forward to the weekend? Any fun weekend plans? Any general life complaints? Any absorption you would like the chat community to take on? You thought Fred already went home during yesterday's live. What gave you that impression? We have a few more days. Maybe 3, maybe 4, depending on when Aaron gets back. Well, there will be probably at least one more Mooncake Live is my guess. I don't really want there to be, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have to. Mooncakes, as you might have picked up if you didn't know before, is a very labor-intensive project. So if you're not a fan of like doing morning buns or sourdough, you definitely don't want to do mooncakes on your own. It is a holiday activity, I guess. If you have family and friends who want to participate in a multi-day baking project with you, or if you just want to make all the fillings and have everybody come together to assemble them, that could be cute too. Kind of like baking holiday sugar cookies and icing them together, but maybe a little bit more exhausting. I've thought about getting a kitty after Fred goes home. I've signed up to be a foster. It's possible. I just need to make sure that I feel solid first and maybe not have as many mom finance shit to linger over mentally and have to figure out my health insurance now. This is what I was afraid of. I was waiting for my life to kind of like settle into place a little bit after I moved here last year, and it has been settling, but it's still quite, you know, life. New things happen. Just when you think you're done with one thing, something else happens. And so I don't want like taking care of a cat to be adding too much stress to my life. I want it to be enjoyable for both of us, because if it's not enjoyable for me, it's not going to be enjoyable for the cat. And I don't want to traumatize an already very like potentially traumatized animal that's coming from the shelter, that's spent time on the streets, that doesn't know what's going on. So, you know, just thinking about being mentally and physically prepared to be present. There's a lot to consider. And I'm sweating again in this sweater, so we're gonna have to go change again soon. And I might have to take a pee break. So, you've been warned. Breaks are coming. You should probably also eat your vitamins. You know, it's a luxury to be given mooncakes because they're so sugary and fatty. It's hard to like have a bad mooncake per se, but there certainly are bad ones out there that just don't taste great. And I feel like some people get really traumatized by bad mooncakes early on in their lives that they swear them off forever. But this comes with a lot of food dislikes too, is even if you tried something, remember that you only tried one of that thing. So don't write it off forever just because you didn't like your very first experience and exposure to it. You know, some things have to be appreciated over time and acquired with openness. So I didn't love mooncakes growing up, but a lot of it was because of my disordered eating. You know, I associated mooncakes with being very sugary and fatty and, you know, unhealthy from that kind of mindset of I should only eat stuff that's good for me. And I think it's taken me a long time to allow myself to enjoy something like mooncakes and to take pleasure in the occasion and the enjoyment, the process of experiencing. So all of it is a learning curve. Freddie, how you doing there? You having a good time licking? So it's gonna be very rainy tomorrow here in New York. I do have farm school. Not really looking forward to it, honestly. Seems like it's gonna be icky. Yeah, holidays are a tough time for people who have histories of disordered eating, you know? Everywhere, every occasion, every moment, every instance in social interaction is an interaction with food. So it becomes really hard to kind of manage your very bundled mess of feelings and cognitive frameworks in such a concentrated way, and it can become very overwhelming for people to deal with, for sure. I'm just trying to normalize it all, you know? That's something maybe that's been crucial to me in therapy, is normalizing all the things that give you guilt, that make you feel bad about yourself, that make you hate yourself. And if you can normalize feeling those feelings and then normalize the actions that are triggering those feelings and letting yourself simply be a bad person, then over time you're diluting the definition of bad to just be human. And once you allow yourself to be human, which is something that capitalism doesn't want us to be because it wants us to be perfect so that it can sell us stuff to make ourselves more perfect. Once you kind of see the big picture and the end game of the system that's been teaching us all these things to hold ourselves to in terms of standards and morals and behaviors and identities, then you allow yourself to kind of relieve the weight that's been crushing you from the outside and internalized pressuring you from the inside. So let yourself just be the sad sack of shit that you are sometimes, because every tree has to lose all of its leaves every year. So what makes you think that you're exempt from this cycle of deconstruction and rebirth, right? I'm gonna go pee. You and Freddie have a good chill. Let him talk to you about good things. Listen to him. Listen to his wisdom. How are things, Freddie? What did you tell them? Do you know I actually love you? Do you think you love me back? Maybe. You just don't know how to put it into words? Hey, Fred. Can I kiss you? Fatty. Fatty, can I kiss? No kiss. No kiss. Alright. Well, he made his boundaries known. I'm sorry for crossing them. Will you come back on the chair if I give you a treat? Come. It's so hard to resist giving him everything he wants, huh? Next we have these ube balls. Okay, I think these are ube. Let me just make sure. Ube strawberry with Nutella. The Nutella ones are with the raw sesame seeds on top, and the yolks are with the black sesame seeds. So that is all normal, I guess. Sorry, Freddie. He's right outside the door. Maybe he'll come back soon. Now this dough, made with honey and not maltose, is much, much more malleable than the one made with maltose. So if you can't find maltose, just know that it won't have the exact taffy-like chew that a lot of mooncakes might have, but it'll be a much easier assembly process. I have my eyeballs on the chat. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, y'all do you. I feel like you kids always have things to talk to each other about. Oh, that's a good question. What have I mean, I would like to hear everyone's answers about what you've done for yourself this week. I allowed myself to not take care of certain tasks that I think are too overwhelming to do in 1 week. Things like researching health insurance, I do have a deadline for it, but I've allowed myself to take more time to figure it out, to make a decision on that. This is one thing that's made me more cognizant of how much community is lacking in terms of social support. I have folks, DMing me with recommendations for things that I can do for healthcare options, maybe subsidies or third-party services. But it's just very depressing when you think about why it is so hard for all of us to access information in a more unified, uniform, public way. They make these systems so hard for us, it becomes unimaginably overwhelming to learn these basic life necessities in the structures that we've set up for ourselves. And it's just really sad, I think, that we need to do things like GoFundMe campaigns to take care of medical funds, and we need to rely on internet strangers who have parasocial relationships to care for us and our blind spots of knowledge regarding social services. So yeah, cauliflower is so good. Allowing yourself to experience bad emotions, undesirable emotions, is a crucial part of learning how to be okay. There will always be undesirable emotions, unfortunately. Hello, Philippines. And I think that's a really good way to handle giving advice to friends too, is offering them a little bit, and if they don't respond enthusiastically, giving them some space to do their own thing. Kind of like how I treat Fred, like if he meows, I try to give him some attention. If it's not what he needs, then I'll have to see if I can figure out what he needs. But otherwise, sometimes he doesn't want the attention, and I just have to learn to leave him alone. Even though I mean to help him, sometimes he doesn't need my help. Sometimes I can't help. So yeah, that was probably Zoomies. I'm not sure if he pooped already today. Sometimes he gets a little loose and wild around pooping time. Treat your friends like you do your cat. I mean, yeah, if your friends are cat-like, for sure, that advice really works. I think I tend to be very cat-like. I think I like to hide away sometimes. I don't really love having attention all the time. I get overwhelmed by friends who check in every day and always ask me the same questions, like, how are you? Because I don't want to have to answer that every time and confront myself and feel like I need to give you an update. Because what if I don't have anything to report? Then that question by default makes me feel like I'm a boring ass person, which is not necessarily false. It's entirely true sometimes, but doesn't make me feel good to be reminded of that, Hello, Hong Kong. Yes, treating yourself to a fancy latte. Give in to the consumeristic desires and lustings. It's not always a bad thing if you do it in a way that is affordable and sustainable for yourself. I mean, it's really the way we were taught to regulate emotion sometimes, is by buying shit. So, you do whatever you need to do to feel okay. A little precious gumdrop. Oh, your friends like being held and told that they're a precious gumdrop? I guess I would like it from certain friends. I feel like if other friends did that to me, I would be quite disturbed. But yeah, it depends. I'm sure cats feel the same way too about different humans handling them. Sometimes they're just like, hell no. People ask how you are out of habit. Do they actually care? I think friends do care, but I would prefer them to be like more direct with their questioning. Like, how's your mental health today? Is anything stressing you out? What was for dinner? More specific asks. If you just ask me a really vague question like, how are you? That puts the onus on me to kind of cherry pick what to present to you. And that makes me think too hard. Sometimes I don't want to be thinking at all. So then you ask me that question on a day on which I don't want to be thinking, and then I get pissed that you asked me this question because it's making me think, and I don't want to think. So ask a more direct, specific question. Or if you're asking me how I'm doing, is it because you actually want to check up on something specific? And that's just like the most comfortable way for you to approach the question? So that's always something to think about too. You don't think capitalism has anything to do with emotions? I'm going to agree to disagree. I think capitalism has a lot to do with my emotions, for sure. So, to each their own perspective and experience of life, I guess. Okay, I have completed some of our ube balls. I will write a marker after I lick my fingers. Delicious. How many of you agree that capitalism has nothing to do with your emotions? You're either super enlightened or you're super wealthy. Because if you have enough money, you certainly don't have to relate to the construct of money as frequently as those who don't have a lot of money. Somebody asked me on my community post about the AMA what I want to know about my viewers. I'm obviously curious about your demographics, your age, your gender, your race, your cultural background, what part of the world you live in. I'm curious about all of those. Sorry, I'm just doing some thinking about what to write on here. And I'm also curious about your economic background, you know, like, but that's not something that I'm going to ask strangers to share on the internet. But I do think it does influence our way of moving around the world, for sure. How could it possibly not influence the way we move around the world, you know? We're going to do the sweet potato next. Sweet potato. Yep, that is the sweet potato. And we have plus yolks, plus cream cheese. Well, good thing these are playbackable episodes. If she wants to see them when she wakes up, the mooncakes will be waiting for her. it's fascinating to me that some people say the structures and frameworks under which we were raised, under which our parents were raised, under which our whole culture and background environments have been constructed in, don't affect us. Everything affects us. It's just how much you connect it mentally and how much you have to think about it mentally. I think some people have the luxury of being able to not think about things too hard, which is wonderful. I'm jealous. You know, like, it's fascinating. I guess I'm fascinated about demographics because it's the way that I've been taught to kind of put people into a box. But I'm also fascinated about how, as I grow into adulthood, I'm now allowing myself to use the demographics as a launching pad for applying theory to reality, because not everyone falls into the box. The box is just there for categorization, for ease of interaction and manipulation, but that's just the first step of getting to know someone. Obviously, I don't have the energy or even interest to know everyone who watches my shows on a personal level where I understand your entire personal history, but the first step in terms of demographics is fascinating, because then I can see, like, oh, maybe people like me because we come from similar backgrounds, whether it be cultural or economic or political beliefs. I mean, I for real would be super interested to hear about people who live in, like, red districts, who are not immigrants, who watch these shows and, like, how they feel about the things that I say. Because for sure I feel like those are kind of diametric opposites to me in terms of demographics, at least. Not to say that there are no like-minded people living in red states from different cultural backgrounds to me. Of course there are. And maybe those are the ones that watch my shows. But yeah, that's always been a curiosity point of mine. Hello, Latvia. And Yvonne, I haven't always hated buying new things because my mom always felt ashamed to buy used secondhand things. So for me, I've actually had to, like, discover my own taste for thrifting things that are secondhand and used. And I wonder to this day how much of my desire for thrifting came from, like, a rebellion against my mom's edicts of don't thrift, because you never know who owned it before you. They could have died of some mysterious illness, and mom just had a lot of things that bothered her. Unknown histories was one of them. So I do think that we can definitely grow out of our upbringing, for sure. Oh my God, you get paid over $15 an hour to live in Hawaii? What the hell can you buy with that wage in Hawaii, of all places, where things are super duper expensive? So definitely I have a very heavily female skewed audience. Both my Instagram and my YouTube viewership is about 90% female. So I think a lot of people watch me because they really do just relate to me. The female aspect really tips me off to maybe my rashness about voicing certain opinions is cathartic for people who also identify as female. The kind of side to that feminine energy that capitalism doesn't really know how to sell, which is not just being like a strong female, but also being like an absolutely disgruntled, angry, sad, depressed female. On top of anger, obviously. Wait, what does HR practitioner mean? Like human resources? Half Mexican, half Irish, living in Kansas. How's that experience? How do you like living in Kansas? Do you think I could survive in Kansas? Or absolutely not? Okay, the very last flavor we're going to wrap is milk tea. Milk tea plus how do you like working in human resources? Do you actually work for a company that like treats its workers well? Are you supposed to help workers or hurt workers? Because I've had an experience with HR where I don't understand what people working in HR, like how, I don't know if I can stand working in HR knowing what HR is capable of doing, knowing what HR is supposed to do in certain companies. That's fascinating. Luxury travel. Whoa, that's fun. And I do feel like the majority of my male audience is gay in terms of sexual orientation, which is not surprising, I think. It kind of flows with the cultural vibe of a more kind of female-centric existence, maybe. I don't know. Am I essentializing? Probably. But there's definitely an alternative attraction, I think. Freddie's gone, so I'm going to tilt it up so you can see my face a little more. Technical writer, that's cool. Does that mean you write about technology? Vegan restaurant manager. How do you like working in restaurant industry in the Twin Cities? Is it slightly less torturous than New York? I feel like we should do this go around every live because reading it once will not allow me to remember everyone, but reading it every time for like 6 months, I might be able to remember 24 of you. And start painting mental pictures of who you are on my face. Especially if you have a profile picture, that makes it very easy. Yeah, you don't know if I would make it here, it's a small town. I agree. I totally agree. I also don't know if I would make it there, for sure. Agender. I don't know what the kind of realization of agender experiences are. I find it fascinating. I just don't know if I'm able to practice a sort of detachment to labels to that degree. I feel like maybe I was raised with a lot of gender norms and I would feel almost fake if I didn't subscribe to one. But that's a fascinating experience for me to think about. Nothing matters beyond age 30. True and not true. I think things become more tolerable as you enter your 30s. Like, you become more used to things not going the way you expected them to. And that in itself is a sort of existential peace that I think is very lovely to have. Neurospicy. That's the first time I've heard that phrase. I like it. Neurospicy. Wisconsin. Do you have to drive in Wisconsin? Is there any place you don't need to drive in Wisconsin? All these states that are car necessary, I will never be able to live in. I'm determined pretty much to never drive for my entire life. So, let's see, I have 8 balls left, and I have 9 balls of wrappers left. Good job, June. Look at that planning. Do you try to visualize what we look like in your head? Yeah, I mean, for sure, like, I feel like you guys who have profile pictures make it easier for me to like try to visualize what you might look like. Not to say that I trust. Like, I don't think Grape Skunk is actually Tom, but Sarah, I can get a rough clue. Unless you guys are catfishing me here on my own YouTube channel with fake profile pictures, which I wouldn't put it past the internet nowadays. We gotta get our thrills wherever we can. Your avatar, Eliza, I think is the same as your Instagram handle, right? It's whatever photo you have attached to your Google account, I think. Thank you for not catfishing me. It's like really bold for you and nice for me to see profile pictures because it gives you less anonymity on the internet. And I think people are way more measured when they have a sense of identity tied to their handles. So I tend to take comments that come from avatars with like real looking people a little bit more seriously, but who's to say when we get trolled that it's always going to be the case that a profile picture equates to a more serious persona. We just don't know. Thank you guys for sharing all of your backgrounds and demos. And now YouTube knows everything. Now they're gonna give us like very targeted ads. I really truly wonder if after revealing all of our demographics here in the chat, if the algorithm's gonna pick it up and be like, all right, these bitches are gonna love this product. Probably. Would I ever go live on another platform? Like which? Which platforms do you guys watch? That's the thing. I've thought about leaving YouTube, but most of my viewers are here. And it's going to be like tricky to ask for people to migrate to another platform. I'm sure some of you will, but most of you won't. Because YouTube is just like the grocery store that you're most used to attending, you know? Like, you might not go to H Mart every day. You might go to it when you think of it, when you need a specific thing. AF says, I wonder if my profile pic could be considered serious. It's like jokey, for sure. I could sense a real human being, but I don't know what they look like. If you went on TikTok live, you'd need lots of moderators. Yeah, I've heard great things about DC, and I've had a lot of New York peeps move to DC. I just don't know if I'd like it there. But I'll visit it for the Ethiopian food. I actually don't watch Twitch because I think of Twitch mostly as a gaming streaming platform. But I honestly made a Twitch account And Aaron and I tried to go live once, but I really just suck at video games. What's Kick? I've never heard of Kick. Interesting. Adventures and naps. What does she do? What is her niche? What is her genre? They have a just chatting section in Twitch. Ah, that would be me. You do food and drink on Twitch. Ah, okay. Well, maybe one day if YouTube goes to the shits, for sure. We can all migrate to Amazon's great platform, Twitch. You either support Google or you support Amazon. I don't even know what PVZ is, girl, so. Yeah, Twitch is Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, you get like a free credit every month to support a streamer. You can subscribe to them for free. I think you get a Prime credit to give away. So if you ever wanted to like support the small guys with your random credit. I think Aaron always encouraged me to do that. He would like pick a random person who was just streaming a gameplay with I don't know, maybe like less than 100 viewers, and he would just randomly subscribe to them, and he would watch their face light up, and then he would direct me to give my free credit to the same person too. And then they would be like, whoa, 2 subs in one night? People give out gifts like condoms at Planned Parenthood? What? What? What is TikTok? What is TikTok? All right, I have one extra wrapper. We'll do, I don't know, something with it later, I guess. Or we can just bake it as a cookie and see what this tastes like as a cookie. Now let us continue molding the rest of these mooncakes. Back on the pandan train. Now the maltose ones seemingly cracks more too, because the dough is just simply drier. So that's what I have to deal with. Now we know, maltose dough, drier, cracklier, less impervious to being smushed. Oh my god, June NPC, can you imagine? Don't I have like too much main character energy though to be an NPC? Oh, this one got defaced. We'll make it work. Do mooncakes usually take several days to make? I don't know. It's not really like a baby where you have to bake it for 9 months. It kind of depends on how many hands you have making it. How many flavors you're making. You know, all of those things matter. I do think my main character energy is a little bit worrying, for sure. The pandan mooncakes are not going to be the prettiest ones, but oh wells. It's not a problem as a content creator to have main character energy. It is a problem with real life relationships. there is now dough stuck inside, so I'm going to try to carve it out clean. You know how much of a perfectionist I used to be is every time I would fuck up a crack like this, I would reform it and re-stamp it. But now I'm just like, you're fine. We'll patch you up by hand. There you go. How would I describe main character energy? Being very self-centered, egocentric. Everything revolves around you. Your voice matters the most. Your stories matter the most. You know, Donald Trump. Main character energy. Instagram sells a dream. Interesting. TikTok is for the sheep. Yo, we got some hot takes over here. Now we know how Shelby feels about all those social media platforms. Okay, so the little centers are giving me a bit of a problem. Now normally I dust it with flour so that it releases more cleanly. You could also potentially dip it in oil or water for a little bit of lube release. I guess I could do that, but will I? I don't know. Maybe we should dust it with a little bit of powdered sugar. Everyone's favorite game, OCD or Perfectionist? I think on my original recipe I was like, space them an inch apart, but when you're lazy, you don't have to do that. You space them however far apart you want. And then if they bake together, which they probably won't that much, then you'll just have to deal with it. Cool. After we stamp the pandan ones, I think we can go ahead and turn on the oven. We think we can start baking these. Because every cycle will take 24 minutes to bake. Have a great watch of Wheel of Time. The problem with these is, in previous bakes, I've not been able to have them not spread enough to retain this shape fully, so this one is a little bit too cracked. I'm going to patch it up with a little bit of hybrid dough. This isn't the same dough that it was originally made with, but I just want to make sure that it's not splooging everywhere, you know? So we'll reshape it. We'll reshape this one. And then that makes me want to reshape these other ones too, guys. Look, that perfectionist tendency, it's alive and it's kicking. But all right, let's go heat up the oven. What did I say? 335. Let's try that. Who am I making these for? Myself? Maybe friends who want some? But no one in particular, really. I just wanted to make them. This is what I do with my life now. I just make random things. It completes the holes in my soul. So low carb mooncakes. Yeah, that's gonna be hard, but I would imagine it's possible to do. Because the crust isn't really important. You will just have to kind of deal with like disgusting sugar substitutes, because mooncakes are supposed to be very sweet. So if you don't have the sweet component, how dare you call it a mooncake? But I guess you could also have meat-based ones too. Those exist. So you could have like keto cheesecake bomb with ground beef and bacon. Mooncakes, I guess. My top 5 restaurants in New York City? Woof. That's hard. I feel like that belongs in a Q&A video. I'm gonna have to take some time to think about it. Because there's so many cuisines too. It's not just like restaurants competing with each other, but it's also like the type of food that's competing to be in my top 5. You know? Ooh, that didn't come out right. The full moon is on the 29th, but the Chinese belief that I was raised with is that the moon before the actual Mid-Autumn Festival date is the fullest. So that would have been the 28th then. Okay, so these are going to go into the oven once the oven preheats. I'm going to take this opportunity to pee. You should maybe drink some water and pee too. I'll BRB. Guys, I have to show you something. I have to show you Fred. He's on my bed. I've tried all week long to tell him not to go on my bed because I think I'm actually allergic to him now. But now he's on my bed, and I feel like you should see this. Oh my God, Fred! I was trying to get evidence that you were on my bed. He's so embarrassed to be caught doing something that he's not supposed to be doing. He knows. He knows what he's supposed to do and what he's not supposed to do. You know. You know, right? Every time he went on the bed, I went, hey, no. And then you hopped off. So you know you're not supposed to be on the bed with your little poopy paws and your little butt wipes. You know you're not supposed to be wiping your butthole on my bed, Fred. Don't ignore me. Hey. Yeah, you? You understand my words. I know you do. Litter glitter. What a cutie, huh? Freddie, you're a cutie. That's why you get away with putting your butthole all over my pillow. That's okay. That's fine. I'll just roll around in your poop all day, right? That's how you're gonna manipulate me into getting even more toxoplasmosis in my system, and then I give you more treats and I let you do whatever you want, and then you overtake the apartment that you proclaim to hate? This is how Asian moms do punishment, okay? We yell at you in front of 140 people. This is why I can't have children. Oh, now you've come to apologize? Yeah? That's okay. I forgive you. Look at that little butt tuft. Look at his little butt tuft. Anyway, Asian moms excel at using shame to control you. That's what we do. Technically, his name is on the lease because I had to get him approved before I moved in here. So his name isn't actually on the lease, but he's approved to be here. We're gonna go in to the oven with these mooncakes. Will YouTube give us a thumbnail clip right here with me and mooncakes on a tray and Freddie in the corner? Probably not. YouTube's not gonna do that. But you saw it. Eight minutes. This is another part of my hesitation with adopting a new cat too, is like, I'm just not ready for my entire life to be covered in cat. You know, he's on my clothes now. We're gonna use this egg wash. It's just egg whites and a brush to paint over. But he's just everywhere now. I have to deal with him being everywhere. On my clothes, on my bed, on my floor, in my hair, sometimes in my toothbrush, sometimes in my food bowl. Mooncake would be a delightful name for a cat. You're right. Ovens are definitely used for storing pots and pans. You're right. Absolutely. We're not going into the trash today, Freddie. We are not going into the trash today, okay? No trash. No trash, please. 2 nights ago, he like flipped over the trash can and tore it open because he smelled his cat food packaging in there. Truly a nightmare to wake up to. But, you know, cats will be cats. We're going to put in a different mold now. The next one that I want to do is our coffee one. Coffee one. So for coffee, let's go with moon or good or circle. Let's go with good. Coffee is good. I like coffee. Yeah, what's up? What's up, Freddie? Why aren't you clicking into place? This is like a brain puzzle every time putting it in. I don't know how to put it in. I don't know which way I should be turning this. I think it's this way. Are you locked and loaded? I think you're locked and loaded. Okay, coffee is good. So let me write that on the slip for coffee. And this is if the patterns actually are legible after they bake, which I don't guarantee that they are. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, I don't want to cut off Fred. Oh, I'm glad that your daughter enjoyed the videos. Anytime somebody says that my videos help them cope with life in some way, I gotta say, those are the moments that make me feel most validated. Your cat is giving bear. That's pretty funny. Definitely need to do some patchwork on these. Unfortunately, we don't have enough dough to patch all of them. So, guys, I also have therapy at 3:30, so you, please, if you're gonna stay on for that long, need to remind me at 3:15 that I need to get my butt off of here so that I can get my brain fixed. I will stand the test of YouTube trends. I don't think I will need to stand the test of YouTube trends if I never cared for them. You know, it's funny, I was thinking while I was peeing the first time on the stream how when I first started putting videos on this channel, a part of the main drawback for me was like thinking about how I'll never be as successful as other people are on YouTube, because I just don't want to make that kind of content. And then I think over the past year, I've started learning that, like, it's okay to not want to do things that have been proven to be successful formulas. And it's okay to just do your own thing. Truly one of the best gifts to ever give yourself. Just do your own thing, guys. Because they'll punish you anyway, no matter what you do. So you might as well use this time to treat yourself. There's our timer for the 8 minutes, but let me finish these first. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to listen to that beep for a little while longer. Especially because I just spotted a new crack that I want to fix right here. Yeah. Great. Now we can have coffee ready to go on the next batch. Okay. I'm going to place a heat-proof trivet here. And here, so that it's safe for us. Ooh, what's universal credit? Is that like universal income? Where do you live? Where should we go to also have universal income? Nice. All right, all aboard the UK train. Although maybe not, because based on previous chats this week, seems like healthcare might be falling through a little bit in the UK. It might not be a lot, but think about it. It's still a good amount of money to supplement someone with every month. You know, sometimes that's like a whole week's minimum wage paycheck. And so I think a lot of people can do a lot of things with that amount of money. Maybe it won't matter as much to people who already make above a certain amount, but for people who don't, crucial. The first round of egg brushing is probably the most intensive. I like to go around the edges as well as the tops, so the edges take a little more time to circle. So yeah, I never got my unemployment benefits. They asked me for all of these details that I mailed in, and then I just stopped claiming them after a while because eventually I got part-time work. But all while I was unemployed, not a single unemployment check came through. So there's that. Oh, I see. It's not universal income. Gotcha. What are the countries that currently do have universal income policies? Guys, this smells so beautiful right now. It smells kind of like osmanthus flowers. Have you ever had osmanthus flowers? They're like these yellow, tiny little yellow flowers that have this very nectar, honey-like scent to them. And they smell a little bit beautifully floral and delicate and sweet in personality. Maybe it's a combination of the fat and the sugar melting against the pandan and the matcha, but I love the smell right now. I just don't have the energy to chase after unemployment. I don't want to deal with the bureaucracy. They do make it really hard for you. I know that this is their game, but I have bigger things to worry about, like mooncakes. I think I want milk tea to be my next tray, but I only have those 2 full-size baking trays, so we're gonna make them on here for now. Milk tea. For milk tea, what do we want? Milk tea. We have milk tea, sweet potato, and ube left. I think I'm feeling month for milk tea. We might not even get to assembling the milk tea because I hear the beeps now for the second batch. So let's just try to get this situated here. See, this is what I mean though, Marie. Like, we need Reddit to tell us how to get our public benefits that we pay taxes into. Like, bullshit, right? Bullshit system. This is a system that doesn't want us to claim anything that we're supposed to be able to claim. So I hate it. Hate all of it. This is our coffee tray. Let's mark it with a C so that I don't forget this is coffee, because I know I'm going to. And we'll reuse this later, but... Do I ever think about immigrating to a European country? Yes, but I don't think about my future because I still have my grandma. There's no point in thinking about a future where all of my life circumstances would be different, you know? So I'll think about it when the time comes. Because by the time grandma dies, I'll be a whole different person. My life might be in a different place. My mindset might be in a different place. International politics might be in a different place. Who knows? We might not even exist anymore. Grandma might outlive us all. Yeah, and I think you also have to think about like visa situations. Like, what countries are going to take you, for what reasons are they taking you? Is it going to be employer dependent? Are you marrying somebody? You know, we don't make it easy with all these rules and borders. We make it really, 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 really hard for people to be mobile in our world. We like them to stay where they are so that we can track them and use them, classify them, categorize them, limit them. All these things. All these prisons. Little tiny prisons. Sometimes they have candy and treats inside so that it doesn't feel like a prison, but it's still a prison. Oh, you got a bonus at work and you can go on an extra vacation now with that bonus? Or you got a promotion and you have a fancy new title and you feel better about yourself? Still a prison. That job is still a prison. Everything's a prison, and I think we've grown to like prisons. So I'm not even saying prisons are a bad thing. I'm just saying be aware that these are all trappings. They are all meant to trap us in some way. And just have that relationship dynamic in mind. It also, I think, helps with a tendency of mine to like compare myself to others, to be envious or jealous or self-deprecating when I compare myself to others and feel like I'm not quite there where they are at in life. I think in telling myself this version of we're all in our own different variations of a prison makes it feel less, you know, it's kind of like Aesop's fox when he couldn't eat the grapes because he was too short to reach them, and so he called them sour. It's just my personal lie or my personal truth, because in a postmodern world those can be the same thing. To
to help me get through every day a little bit easier and less hard on myself. So, prisons do make us feel safe. And given how crazy the world is, like literally people commit crimes to stay in prison because we've made the world outside so difficult to live in. And prisons are contained and they have more order, although, you know, more violence too. It comes with any world of prison that we get embroiled into, but it's an ecosystem with a set of restrictions and protections, because all restrictions are a form of protection, which is why eating disorders feel so scary to get out of, because you're like, oh, well, I felt safe having this eating disorder, and now you're telling me I can't have it anymore. So you're telling me I can't have one of the few things in my life that make me feel safe. That's part of the psychology of getting out of toxic cycles that we've grown used to experiencing. And I think my Instagram feed now is filled with explore page suggestions about relationship dynamics and how to get out of toxic cycles. And a lot of the posts are like, we stay in toxic relationships and we get ourselves into toxic relationships over and over again because we're familiar. They feel familiar to us. They feel almost right in how wrong they are because we've experienced them. Maybe some of us from childhood. So we go seeking that sameness because it feels, even though we know it to be not healthy per se, but it feels right to us. And it feels like we can have control over it because we've experienced it before. So sometimes healthy doesn't mean safe, because sometimes safety actually means danger. Isn't that fucked up? Isn't our world our world is so fucked up. So we're starting to see some of that egg wash pure through with the goldenness on the second round here. And this is coffee. No, this is pandan. That other one was coffee. Why rent an office building to force people to go into when they don't want to? Because of capitalism. They paid for the lease. They want to maintain that level of rent to control the real estate market. It's all about maintaining the market. It's not about what's actually healthy for us. It's about how to sustain capitalism. So we live in a capitalism, and it's not necessarily a bad thing that we do, but the main thing about the capitalism version that we live in now is capitalism itself has overtaken its benefit to us, and we are now benefiting capitalism. So it's become like twisted in its purpose, you know? It doesn't really serve us anymore. Most of us, at least. Maybe it serves some of us. But even the people that it does serve, it's a very short-sighted kind of serving, you know? Because all they're doing is fucking it up for everyone else and the world, environment in general, and sooner or later, yeah, they'll have more power relative to everyone else, but what good is power when you've destroyed everything around you to obtain it? What good is power when you have no one to actually share it with? And I think that's when we create all these industries that are very class-based to make people feel special about their wealth, because they have basically erased their humanity in some respect based on the kind of status and wealth that they've subjected their lives to. And so they need then to make a justification for why they've sacrificed their lives to obtain this level of status and wealth, and they need to then retroactively make themselves feel better about everything that they've relinquished. It's kind of like a deal with the devil in a way. We make crazies and we regret it, and then instead of saying, oh shit, maybe don't do this, we continue constructing the lie that this was a good move, and we make other people who aren't in that position feel bad about themselves to make ourselves feel better about ourselves. But in reality, I think at this stage of capitalism, everybody feels like shit. Because capitalism relies on alienation, and I don't think alienation really serves any of us, existentially speaking. I think it makes us feel really scared, fundamentally. Alienation is a sort of perpetual immersion in foreignness, and it creates this level of detachment that is not spiritually holistic. It's segmenting. It's segmenting all of us. And it's making us perform in ways that are not cohesive. So we feel splintered, and we feel at odds with not only other people, but with ourselves, which is like the worst kind of alienation. And it's also the most foundational alienation that capitalism does, even in early stages of capitalism. You know, like Marx probably wrote most of these theories about how the boss, the capitalist, separates the worker from his own work. And so we become alienated from our own labor, and that's the first step of self-alienation. And we've now had a few centuries to finesse the art of capitalism to the degree that it has become a full-fledged machine. And we now serve the functionings of this machine rather than using this machine to enable us to live and survive and thrive. Instead, we feed ourselves into this machine. I like to call it the meat grinder. It makes us into McDonald's hamburger patties, just all of us, all together, smushed into pink slime. And then we become a tasteless slab of meat. So, second brushing, last cycle of bake on our pandans. Now we start forming our milk teas, which is which means moon. So we'll write that. That's the character for moon, poorly written. Bye, thanks for joining. I hope you have a great rest of your day and weekend. Oh, God. That was very unsuccessful. Shit. Okay, so this is the dough that we made, I think, with honey. Really soft. I feel like we're gonna have to flour this one. I don't think even powdered sugar is enough to do this. better. YouTube is now giving me a pop-up on the chat dialogue that says, engage with your audience. Are you not amused? Are you not so fully engaged already? You came to see what a mooncake is. Well, we won't be cutting into one today because it takes 15,000 years to make, 2 days to bake, 3 days to rest before you can eat it. JK, it doesn't take 3 days to rest, but I would recommend that you rest it. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Guys, I don't think I set a timer for that other pandan one, so let's see. Set a timer for 5 minutes, maybe? Okay, second brushing of egg. Yeah, you're not obligated to be a moderator. Anytime you want to not be a moderator anymore, just let me know. You guys are doing this shit for free. You're not. Don't want it to stress you out. But YouTube loves telling you what to do. And they always try to frame it in such a way that it makes them sound like they're always doing it for your benefit. Girl, we know you're not doing it for our benefit. We know that giving audiences more ads and you less control over what ads, what kind of ads to display is not for our benefit. Why does it think we're all so dumb? Just tell us the real reason for why you're changing shit up. Just tell us that you want to make more ad money off of us and you want to give your creators less of that fee that you charge your advertisers. Just tell us. You don't have to hide it, girl. Be proud. Be proud of the exploiter that you have become. Be proud of the fact that you have given the internet everything and you are now ready to take back all of it. You are ready to turn your benevolence and philanthropy into the world's most extensive system of spying, selling, turning people into data and targets for products that you want us to buy. Just tell it all. You have a little bit of condensed milk, what to do? How much is a little bit? A little bit can be a cup or it can be a tablespoon. Oh, battery's about to run out. Guys, we should plug you in, huh? We should plug you in. But that would also mean that we need to change spots. So maybe, can you see here? Maybe you can even see better here. Wow, look at that. Look at this new angle. It's like I'm a pro or something. Like I have my kitchen set up for camera angles and cat sits. These mooncakes are being made for the occasion of Mid-Autumn Festival, which is next week. I just wanted to make something for myself. I just wanted to feel alive. And I just wanted to give something out of the routine to myself. And maybe give a couple to Aaron when he comes to pick Fred back up next week. I was planning on going to like a farm school autumn equinox or whatever you call it, solstice. But I don't think I want to go anymore. It's this Sunday. This cacophony. How do we think these look? Good? Should they stay in for a little bit longer? Maybe. We'll see. But these are going to go back in for their third bake. These could be glossed a little tiny touch more. And then back in for a little bit longer. Their sides look a little naked. I would say condensed milk make fantastic frostings. They make delicious oatmeal additions. You could definitely throw it into a bake, like a bread pudding or even a muffin or a cake. But that might mess up your wet to dry ratios a little bit if you're following a certain recipe. So you've been warned. You just have to be prepared of fucking things up for yourself in ways that you did not imagine doing. Okay, back in for a couple minutes. I baked these peanuts. I can take this tray off and let it cool and use that as a baking tray too. But for now, we'll just keep on molding. I don't know if I make everything look easy, but I show you ways in which if you fuck up, you can try to fix it. That's most of life, I've learned, is fucking up and fixing it. And sometimes the act of trying to fix something is overwhelming and makes me depressed and burnt out. So then I have to ask myself, is it worth it to try to fix something? Is it worth it to try to force something? Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is. There is no right answer is something that I've learned in farm school that has really brought me comfort. In almost every curriculum course that we've gone through, there's always been some iteration of, you know, like, we tell you these things, but a lot of farming is trial and error. And a lot of it is learning from other people. And my mold just came out. So now we have to put it back in again. The mooncake mold is the one that gives me the most issues. The one that says moon is the one that gives me most issues. But yeah, there is no right answer. There is no one size fits all. There's not even one size fits all for you in different times of your life. So you just have to be able to decide what's worth your energy and what's not. Funny thing is, I actually also have a cat allergy, but when I got Fred, I started acclimating to him. And now I think I'm allergic again because of how long I've spent away from him. But allergies do go away with some exposure. So it's not totally impossible if you want a cat. You just have to decide how much you're willing to suffer. Damn, that didn't work. Yikes. I hate this moon mold. This one has given me the most issue. Okay, the pandan is out. Very hot. We'll let it cool. Okay, what's next? More mooncakes. Maybe reshaping this one that got super fucked. Less fucked. More flour. So yeah, if you make mooncakes, just be prepared to have to do a lot of redos if you're a perfectionist. Yo, this mold is going to be never again used. Come on, bro. You struggling? You don't want to cooperate? We just have 2 more to go, please. 2 more. Damn. Dad made mooncakes from scratch? That's love. Love for the craft, love for the family. But yeah, it's okay. As a kid, you just want to fit in. You learn over time who you are as a person. You're not expected to be like a fully formed person as a kid. And parents, ultimately, I think they understand. Don't feel too bad. Okay guys, we are down to the wire now. We're gonna do a little transfer work of the baked ones onto a tray so that we can have a new tray to bake on. These are the pandan ones, don't let me forget. In fact, I'll put it down here. They are hot, that's for sure. I don't recommend stacking them like this while they're still hot because it'll compress the designs a little bit, but I really don't have space for this many productions. So here's our pandan, completed mooncakes. Thumbnail moment, maybe YouTube? Ah! Ooh, yes. Oh man, that coffee smells so fucking good, guys. I want to coat it one more time like I did the pandan, just for extra gloss. But this coffee smells so good. Oh man, you can really smell that coffee flavor. Woo! Fantastic. I glazed the sides of these way better too. So the reason why you should let these cakes rest is that the outside, as you can see, gets pretty toasty and it gets dried out, the pastry layer, but the inside is so filled with sugar and oil that if you let it sit over time, the hydration from the filling will kind of redistribute themselves into the crust and it will make it a more cohesive pastry. If you ate it now, and you certainly can, once it cools down a little bit so you don't burn the shit out of your mouth, the pastry will more likely fall apart and be a separate component from the filling. So if you want a more cohesive mooncake eating experience, definitely highly recommend that you wait. Especially after you spend so much effort making them. Exactly. I also like minis because you can have more of them. We're ready to bake these, and these are milk tea. Milk tea. Let's mark it. Milk tea. So these are going to go into the oven now. Awesome, y'all. Oh my gosh, we might finish baking everything, possibly. What time is it? Sweet potato next. So the sweet potatoes will be the final one, which is round, yuan, which means union of families around holidays. We love this one. Great signifier. Aaron did go to Asia, yes. Womp womp. This is what I get for not flouring it every time. How many of you watching right now would say that you've grown to like yourself more in the past 4 years? And was there one event that made you realize, hey, I'm not too bad. I kind of enjoy this person I've become. Why are you getting stuck? I flowered you, man. Don't be mean. Please cooperate. Whoa, Sarah. Thank you for sharing that. Imagine me, depressed, bitter, and cynical, uplifting other people's mental health. The world truly is a dark comedy. What a fantastical place we live in. You feel more normal watching me. See, that's what I do for people. Showing them how fucked up they can be so that they feel more normal in comparison. I'm JK, but not JK. I know you mean well. Okay, here's our beautiful sweet potato offerings. Ready for the bake on the next round. Let's transfer these out. These are the coffee ones. Let's put the marker here. These smell so good. Wow. Absolutely in love with the coffee smell right here. I guess you have to start off with really good coffee, you know? Oh, I didn't show you the bottom of the bake. Really nice. It looks dark on camera, but it's nicely toasty, I think. Okay, I'm coming. Yep. I hear ya. But I also need a piece of parchment. Ta-da! 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 Coffee! Yay! Okay, so these are sweet potato. Let's go ahead and mark our parchment with SP. So we remember. And into the oven they go. We're gonna egg wash these milk tea ones. They're looking really beautiful. I'm in love with the crust. Kind of punctured that one with my brush. Whoopsies. She'll be fine. She'll recover. worry. The well-definedness will go off into softer realms of definition during the second round of baking. They always look the best after the first round, but after the egg wash is put on, they start to look a little more miscellaneous in their identities. It's fascinating to hear from time to time some people who say they prefer the lives over edited videos. I do feel like lives on YouTube at the time that I started doing them in 2021 weren't really viewed as something that was like very YouTube-y. I think YouTube fame and prestige is based off of edited videos and their successes for sure. So to think of my channel as a live dominant channel, I think is more true to its persona. It's not more true to the persona that started when I worked at Delish, but I also don't work at Delish anymore. Just thinking out loud. I don't have a point. I think it's nice that I've allowed myself to do two types of video content for sure. But it's funny how much perceived prestige affects our decisions for doing the work that we do, choosing the jobs if we have an option that we choose, the degrees that we get, the clothes that we wear, the partners that we seek and settle down with, how we pass on our values and perception of the world to our children. Oh, I didn't set a timer. Whoops. I'm gonna guess that was 2 minutes. So, probably was more, but they'll be fine. The best thing about mooncakes is that they're not like super fragile unless you burn them. You can always eat them. They're so solid. I don't know why, but it started smelling like mushrooms. These smell like mushrooms? Not sure what's going on here. Not sure why milk tea would smell like mushrooms. Like dried mushrooms too. Guys, I need a snack. I want a snack. I have a part of a smoothie that I didn't finish from this morning that I can add some ice to. Hi, Shaz. So enthusiastic. She's thick. Oh, I have to read the comments. Sorry, I've been lagging. You listen to my lives like a podcast. Interesting. Yes. Lots of families coddle older people's behaviors. And I think it's a personal decision. Sometimes it's not worth the effort to fight them on certain things, like their racism and their cultural values. It's a lost cause for the most part. So just to put it into perspective, you have, logically speaking, more of your life ahead of you. And so if it's burning you out to interact with her in one way or another, choose differently for the sake of yourself and your own mental health than for the sake of her and what is just and moral. Because justice and morality are just another two systems of abstraction that we use to shape our worldviews and to also form different kinds of systematic manipulations that justify things from time to time. So be chaotically neutral, because lawful sorts of operation will probably end up hurting you more. For a society that really doesn't value lawfulness, if you are the one to be lawful, then you lose. The last one that we have is ube. For ube, should we just stay with the circle, but maybe cover them with something else as a distinguishing feature? Like poppy seeds? I have these blue poppy seeds from Burlap and Barrel. They're one of the sale items. So let's try some poppy seeds. Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to stabilize everything a little bit. I'm going to press the poppy seeds on the other end, so that they're a bottom crust identifier. Poppy seeds on the bottom. I'll write that too for my notes. Poppy, not poopy, bottom. And this one is also. Yeah. I just didn't feel like changing the covers anymore, and these covers feel sturdy. The round, the circle one feels sturdy, reliable. I think a lot of people struggle with the so-called authenticity that people are claiming to like. I don't doubt your claims, I'm just saying they're not for everyone, and I'm okay with them not being for everyone too. But some people are clearly very worked up. It's nearly 3 p.m. Thank you for the reminder. I really do want to finish baking these. That would make me very happy. There are different schools of belief regarding whether or not you can cut out family members. I think it's also a generational thing. Value systems are changing. Mental health discourse is changing. Our standards for human interaction are changing. So I think it does need to be like on a case-by-case basis of what you personally feel comfortable with. Did I also not set a timer? Dang, girl. I'm really not good at this. Or did I just destroy my own timer? Because I thought I didn't set it, but I actually did. Whatever the case may be, we're egg washing these now. This is the sweet potato. I think we might be running out of egg wash. and I don't really feel like cracking a whole egg to finish these. So I'm going to be a little bit more sparing, because all we have left is this much. And we still have another flavor to go. So these are going to get not as much glaze. Damn, I thought 4 egg whites would run me a long way, but it turns out no. I think the way that I distributed my egg whites among the mooncakes is how we've been distributing the economy amongst different generations. I guess we like to complain about boomers having it easy coming out of post-war America and having easy mortgages and higher incomes and better job markets, and now we are getting fucked over in all of our orifices. In the same way that I washed the first 2 batches of mooncakes with 3 egg white rounds without even thinking that, oh, maybe I won't have enough for the future rounds. And we are still running through our resources in terms of what we want to consume and not in terms of thinking how to make things last sustainably for future generations. We're still falling into the same kinds of behaviors that we're criticizing older generations on. So it reminds me of that Bible passage, you know, of like Jesus saying, let the first person who doesn't sin cast the first stone, you know. I don't know if the ube ones will get egg wash though, if I don't crack an egg, so maybe I should crack an egg. Dang. Fine, we'll crack an egg. I should probably use up my eggs anyway. There are advantages to using the whole egg. The yolks will give you a darker color, but I almost feel like let's go with the egg white first, because the previous batches have all been egg whites. I do like the taste of egg yolks a lot. I have 2 Nelly eggs left. They're both extra large. They both were sell by August 9th. That's funny. I'm funny like that. That's better. Guys, sometimes it's better to use more eggs, even if you didn't plan on it originally. Sometimes your heart really does know what should happen. But sometimes it don't. So it's still a gamble. At this point, after so many trays, I've kind of lost count of which one's been in there for how long. So I'm just using my eyeballs to discern how dark the crust have gotten. And I'm gonna let them bake until they look right. That's another reason why I want to keep using just egg whites, so that I can compare it to previous batches where I know for sure they were baked for the right amount of time. I might have to do my therapy session in the kitchen, just so I can finish baking these. Ooh, we got a little bit of Nutella ooze. Whoopsies, that one's gonna burn. All right, peeps. We have finished forming almost all of our mooncakes, and all that remains now is to bake them. You have now seen the entire process from start to finish. I hope you have enjoyed tuning in to this madness. I will now go try to eat some of this cookie dough that has all of my hand germs. It's delicious. I hope you enjoyed this saga, and maybe we'll try one on the next live. Oh man, what a day, what a life, what a joy. What else is new? What else do I have to do? Transfer. You want some food, Freddie? I'll give it to you ahead of time because I'm going to be in therapy around your normal meal time. But You're gonna have to give me a few moments. I'm a little scatterbrained right now. What should I talk about? Can you guys give me some actual traits of weaknesses or patterns you've seen that I should bring up in therapy? I'm serious. Now's the time to critique me if you've ever wanted to critique me. Things that you think I would benefit from exploring in therapy. I'm open. I'm receptive to the outsider's evaluation. Yeah, I know. I know I'm putting it tight with therapy, but I still want your opinion on what to fix about me first, so I can make it a productive session. These do look good though. They do look very baked. Maybe these are done because they're starting to explode. Okay. You done, Freddie? This is milk tea. Woo! Ooh, she hot. Sorry, I broke you. There is such a thing as being too hot. Too hot to handle. Finding it hard to chill about some things. Yes, true. Thank you for all of your opinions, guys. And Freda and I will see you on the next live. And wish me, oh God, our phone. There we go. Wish me luck so that I have a productive therapy session. And we'll taste some mooncakes on the next live. Happy Friday. Take care of yourself.